everyone, and Kate here for another in my series of Cozy Things Chats. And I'm really excited today to be joined by my good friend Carrie. We've been friends since she was my choir director in high school. So yes, she was my teacher first, and then we stayed in touch. And it's just been so lovely to have a more long-term friendship. And now we live close enough that we can sort of try to see each other more regularly. And so, yeah, it's just really lovely to know Carrie. And she is a mom and also does some part-time work and then has a blog. And I will make sure to link to the blog because she has some really nice just reflections on life and faith. And yeah, it's just a nice little corner of the internet. And we both like to read. And we both kind of I'm looking forward to Carrie's cozy thing. So thank you, Carrie, for being a guest.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I guess we'll do your 10 cozy things. And what is the first cozy thing?
Okay, so I kind of made my list all with the word like things. So they're all like something things. Like that's
Oh, yes.
my way to categorize them. So the first one is making things. Like I was thinking specifically about like sewing, different kinds of sewing and like creating. So I actually brought a couple.
Yay, show and tell.
Yeah. So one thing recently that I realized that I really love is counted cross stitch. I hadn't done one in a long time, but I did like a small one, and it was so fun that I decided to try to do a bigger one. So I just started this. This is like, it's not going to be quite this big, but it's like this. Ooh, I think I have it upside down. I think it goes this way. Anyway, it's eventually going to be like this, like a
Oh,
big,
that's
like,
so nice.
Merry Christmas to all. So I have plenty of time. I have till like,
Yes.
December that I should
That's
be able to get
totally
it.
plenty of time.
Yeah. But it's just, there's something so relaxing about just sitting down and just like counting stitches and just, I don't know, seeing it gradually take shape. And I just, yeah.
Yes.
I also like to crochet. So like counted cross stitch and crochet are probably my top two, like
Mm-hmm.
making things, doing things. So I've been doing these little, they're like bookmarks actually. They're like little crocheted,
Oh,
it's like a really simple pattern and you can do it like really fast. And it's just, you quickly feel like you've made something like,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's this like wonderful thing that you can create while having a relaxing time. It's
Yes.
lovely.
Yeah. So sometimes like, you can listen to things while you do it or,
Mhm.
I don't know. The other thing with making things, I kind of put in the same, it's not, yeah, just another version of making things for me is I like to just sit down at the piano and just like make music, like make that also. I mean, it's again, it's not exactly like sewing, but both of them in my head kind of go together. They're both like, you're kind of
Mm.
just reading something and it just feels relaxing. So yeah.
Yes. When you do sit down to relax and play on the piano, do you like
Yeah.
to play from books or do you like to kind of be more improvisational or is it both?
I would say it's both. Yeah. Like there's something relaxing about both, even though they're different. Like there's something nice about just sitting down and playing chords and just kind of seeing what comes out or whatever.
Mm.
But then there's also something nice about getting a book and just reading. I will say it's nice to read something I already know. Like I don't know if it's relaxing to sit down necessarily and learn something new as much as just like
Yeah.
playing something. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh, that's so
both are fun.
cool. And then I guess it was now goodness, I guess it would have been December 2019. Carrie and her husband Phil came and played on the antique piano in the
Yes.
Ebenezer Maxwell Mansion, which is a Victorian
Yes.
mansion. And you played
Yeah.
Christmas carols, and we
Yes.
did a sing along. That was really fun.
Yes, that was fun. Yeah, we enjoy being able to have little chances to do things like that. That was neat.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And hopefully now gradually things like that will come
I
back
know.
more.
Yes, I know. Absolutely. Yeah.
Alrighty. So I guess the second cozy thing.
Okay, so then the second thing I had was listening to things, which I guess can kind of
Hmm.
go with making things sometimes. But um, I've definitely found that well, I am a music person, so music does kind of come into play a lot here, I guess. But there is something like really calming and cozy for me about just putting on the right kind of music and just like just being able to listen to something. Like I have this one playlist that I called Worshipful Reflective Chill. So
I
it's just
love,
kind
I
of,
love the specificity of that.
it's, yeah, and I feel so. I just picked like this list of, I don't know, 10 or 15 songs that are just like there's Sarah Groves, if you know of her, like I
Oh,
feel like
yes.
and there's I think a
Yes.
Chris Rice, and like I don't know, just people that have like
Mhm.
thoughtful, calm kind of music in my mind. So I'll
Yes.
often put that on if I think about it anyway, like at night when I'm maybe like washing the dishes or just doing something kind of at the end of the day, and just like, yeah, it has a feels very cozy. And I
Mm.
guess I would also put in this category audiobooks. Like I think that listening
Mhm.
to audiobooks can also feel very cozy and relaxing. And ironically, a lot of times when I'm like washing dishes, I don't know what it is about washing dishes and listening to things, but it just feels
Yes.
very, yeah, very cozy.
Yes. Yes.
So,
No,
yeah.
I agree. And now are podcasts also in the same category, or are
Oh,
podcasts their own
yeah.
category?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I me too. Yeah, I also like, I find that relaxing as well. Sometimes it's hard to like, I have to think what I'm in the mood for exactly,
Mhm.
but yeah, listening to podcasts is definitely another go-to thing. And I mean, I guess even though it's technically watching too, like booktube, like your channel would probably fit in this category too. Like it's just something kind of calming to listen to and watch. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I think many people when they watch booktube, like they kind of listen to it while
Right.
they can be
It's
doing other
not like
things.
you have to like have your eyes like riveted to it at all
Yes.
times. Yeah,
Yes,
right.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, very nice. All right. And on to the third cozy thing.
Okay, so third, I had eating or drinking yummy things. um,
Yes.
I was thinking, yes. I was trying to think of what, of course, there's many things you could say here, but the top things that came to my mind were cookies, like fresh baked cookies,
Oh.
um, homemade bread, which I use. We have a bread machine. We actually two bread machines. So I'll just make like a bunch of loaves of bread because it's such an easier way, but you get that like taste of like fresh homemade
Mm.
bread.
Yes.
And then yeah, so cookies, bread, soft pretzels. I love a good like homemade soft pretzel.
Oh, yes.
um, yeah, in fact, that has kind of become sort of our traditional, like on a snow day, we like making soft pretzels
Oh,
is like a thing that we try to do.
oh, that's so
Um,
fun.
yeah, that's been our whole family kind of devours them, but yeah.
That's awesome.
And then just hot beverages, which if I was
Mm.
more prepared, I maybe would have tried to have but anyway, just drinking coffee or tea, like something hot feels very
Yes.
cozy. Or
Now,
hot chocolate.
Carrie, would you like to share? You talk about your whole family devours. Carrie, you have an abundance of twins in your life. What is the lineup of your
Yes,
children?
not quite as many as what was this line from Anne of Green Gables about
Twins seem to
twins.
be my lot in life.
Yes. So I don't know if you could say that, but we had one child first, a boy, and then after that we had a set of twins, a boy and a girl, and then after that we had another set of twins, two girls.
You were
So they
like, they
just
came out so nice. Let's just continue
let's just
that
keep it going.
theme.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the ironic thing is that really the second set was way easier than the first set. I don't know if that's ironic or not, but
Really?
yeah, I just think like the first set having like you have a toddler and then you suddenly have twins that you have no idea what you're
Ah,
doing with. And by the time you get through all of that, then it's like another set of, I mean, it's still not easy, but it's kind of like, okay, we've done this. Like we kind of know what we're getting into.
that's it. And also you're like, your bar for like what counts as like an orderly household is a lot is a lot
I know,
lower.
like by this point, yeah, it's just survival. Like, yeah.
Survival. Okay, so are we on to the fourth cozy thing?
Yes. So fourth, I put down nighttime things, which is a little again
Mm.
kind of general, but I just love nighttime. Like I love that time after the kids go to bed and everybody. My husband tends to be not as much of a night person, so often it's just me, like alone in the quiet house. And
Mm.
I mean, I even like nighttime sounds. You know, if there's like if you happen to be if it's nice out and you're out on the porch or something, and there's just like whatever it is, crickets or I don't know, just like that
Yeah.
you just kind of have this feeling like, okay, the world is like, I'm not going to be interrupted and it's just
Mm.
cozy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
night.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. A calm time of day for you.
It is. It
Yeah,
is. Yes.
that's really nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And cozy thing number 5.
Okay. So number 5 for me is writing things.
Hmm.
I have discovered that I really love writing things. The blog came about kind of as like a surprising thing. That wasn't like I sat down and was like, let's make a plan of like, right. It just sort of spontaneously came about, I would say.
Mhm.
The process of doing it has made me, I think, realize more that how much it's such a go-to thing for me, and to be able to
Mm.
just like regularly have a reason to do that has been really wonderful. And I think for me, I've realized that writing is kind of like, if I guess there's different reasons that would lead me to write, but like sometimes if I just feel like my head is kind of like, I don't know I can't figure something out, like to just sit down and just write for a little while, it has a way of just kind of bringing some kind of
Mm.
calm, or like just kind of bringing me back to like, okay, I can sort of think again. And yeah, so
You've really
just
like processed everything that you had kind of
yeah.
swirling around.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I guess related to that, I also kind of like to read back over things I've written, like even journals and
Oh,
things, like kind of go back through and remember things. Like I mean, one of my journals I have, I just try to write down like just kind of joyful things or happy things, like just
hmm.
sometimes it's like things my kids say, or I don't know, just something I noticed that day that is like, I want to remember and kind of think of it as a joyful thing. So there's something about looking
Hmm.
back through that that's also very cozy. Like I think it's easy like in life to kind of forget that good things happen sometimes. And so
Yes.
you go back and you're like, oh yeah, like that was a good thing. And that was, it just
Yeah.
uplifting.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And also kind of reassuring, like, even on the
Yeah,
days that are challenging, like, there are
right.
still parts of it that I enjoyed. There's rarely
Right.
such a thing as a horrible day. There are days that
Right.
have things you don't like in them. But
Right.
yeah, no, that's lovely to have it documented.
Yeah, because I mean, I even feel like sometimes I will feel, until I start writing it down, I will feel like it really was like absolutely horrible and everything's terrible. But
Yes.
then like I kind of like, oh, let me just try to write down a couple things. And then suddenly it's like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, like I had forgotten about. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, very cool. All right. Number 6.
Okay, so number 6, I wrote down fuzzy soft things. I have to when you think cozy. So specific things that I thought of were I didn't bring, but a robe, like my fuzzy robe, that's very
Oh,
cozy. Really all year
yes.
long, like I guess especially in the winter, but honestly, like
Yes.
just any time at night, especially it kind of goes with the nighttime, like, put on my robe and listen
Yes.
to calm music. It's just, yeah.
Hmm.
And then blankets, we're like very much of a blanket family. So
Oh,
we all love a good blanket, just wrapping around. I mean, Micah, our one son, Micah, will often come down in the morning and just be completely like have his blanket all around him and just
oh,
with like,
oh.
um, and our youngest twins are 5 now, but Lily, she still has these 2 she calls them her baby blankets. And she just every night sleeps with her 2 baby blankets. So it's,
That's so
yeah,
sweet.
yeah, blankets and robe, and what was the other?
Hmm.
Oh, like fuzzy socks. Like I love warm,
Yes.
fuzzy socks. My feet tend to get cold, so it's always
Yeah,
good.
my feet are like from October through like April. Like I basically have socks on my feet
Yeah,
almost all the time.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's a certain thing. Certain people's bodies, just the heat doesn't
The
go to.
extremities.
I don't know, yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, fuzzy socks,
Yes.
and
Oh,
yeah, I think
delightful.
those are my fuzzy soft things. Yes.
Nice. Nice. All right. Cozy thing number 7.
Okay, so then 7, I have things in nature. I think there
Hmm.
are definitely certain things about nature that feel cozy to me. So I thought one of the first thing I thought of was sunshine. Like when I was
Oh.
thinking, especially of like if you find a part in your house, like for us, our front door, like when you open the front door on a sunny day, there's just this like big patch of sunlight that comes through. And I don't
Hmm.
know, I love like finding a spot to sit or something where you're like literally warmed by the sun. Or I mean, of course, also being out in the sun too.
Mm-hmm.
I know like people often, I guess, think winter cozy. Sometimes I almost think cozy in winter, but there's something about summer and like the heat of the sun that can feel,
Mm.
I think, kind of cozy too.
Yeah. No, coziness is for year round.
Oh yeah, that's good. So yeah, sunshine. I also thought about water as there's of course lots of ways that water we see water and experience water, but like the beach,
Mm.
the sound of the waves and the feeling of the water,
Mm.
and like I think rain, even of course sun is
Oh,
kind of almost the opposite of rain, but there's something very
right.
cozy too about like when it's raining and
Yes.
the sound of the rain and even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the feeling of it, like I don't know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not a down, but there, yeah, just I guess it reminds me too of like rain or water, which isn't exactly nature maybe, but in a shower or bath, like
Oh,
just
yeah.
feeling of that like warm
Yes.
water is so cozy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very therapeutic.
yeah, so
Yeah.
sunshine and water, and then fire was the other thing that I thought of, like
Oh,
campfires or like a
yeah.
fireplace and the crackle of the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, all of those things in their own different ways, I think feel very cozy.
Yes. And you know, one that I've increasingly really enjoyed, and this I think you can kind of hear it in every season, but is wind going through trees.
Oh, oh yes, that's another really
I
good
just
one.
love, I find that such a soothing sound. Maybe you hear it more when there are actually leaves on the trees. Um,
Yeah,
and then in the
maybe.
autumn, you can hear like the dry leaves
Oh,
like blowing
yes.
around.
I love that too, and like the crunchy leaves. Oh, and
Yeah.
actually, that makes me think too of like one year, I think it was for Mother's Day. My husband and the kids got this wind chime thing. So, like, when
Oh,
I also love that sitting out on a windy day and you just hear like this sound
yes.
of chimes. It's very, yeah, very relaxing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, a show that I've been watching recently that has like all the outdoor things that I love. It's called Rosemary and Thyme, and it's about
Oh,
these two friends, Laura Rose or Rosemary Boxer and Laura Thyme. So that's what where the
okay,
names come from.
gotcha.
And they are gardeners and landscapers. And so they'll come to these big, beautiful English estates, and there just happens to be a murder at every estate they
Oh,
go to. So they solve it. But what I love, they've got like the middle-aged lady wardrobe, like check,
okay.
and like the flowy blouses and everything.
Yes.
And I mean, they're on these beautiful estates and these beautiful gardens. And then
Oh,
there's
wow.
always like cozy bedtime preparation scenes where they're like brushing their hair or doing lotion. And
Nice.
I love it. So yeah, it's been very fun to revisit it.
That actually makes me think too. I forgot to write this down before, but I with nature, I also think plants are, I don't know, another
Yes.
thing that I love. Like I was thinking about it. We have a couple plants right by our kitchen sink, and there's something just
Hmm.
calming. I don't know, cozy. I think cozy. Just I love
Yeah.
it. I don't know if it exactly is cozy, but just something about plants
Yes.
and the miracle of life that you see as a plant
Yes.
grows.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with beautiful things, you know, with
Yes.
beauty. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
All right. Cozy thing number 8.
Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. So this is where I finally have some books coming in. Well, I guess audiobooks kind of counted, but anyway.
Mhm.
So the eighth thing I thought of was simple things. And the reason this goes with books is because I feel like books about like if they have some element of like simplicity in them, I find them to be very cozy. Like the ones that
Hmm.
I came to mind were like, I guess like books almost from a simpler time, at least in my head, it's a simpler time, like the little house books where it's just like, you
Ah.
know, long enough ago that there's a lot of life it's hard, but it's more simple, it seems.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've found that especially reading those aloud too, like I read them, I've been reading, we kind of have hit a lull, but I'm trying to read through them with my girls, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
to read out loud. Like I don't know if all books are that way, but I just feel like they're nice for reading aloud. So the Little House books, Christy was another book that I thought of.
I
Um,
love Christy so
yeah,
much. Oh,
yeah,
it's so good. And it is, yeah, kind of this like doing the daily tasks of life
yeah,
that really
yeah.
makes you feel present with the characters.
Yeah. And it just is kind of, yeah, I don't know, freeing to your mind or something like,
Mhm.
yeah. There's another series. I don't think it's quite as well known, but I do have it here. It's The Adventures of the North Woods. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard of this. It's might be good for middle grade moms.
yeah, yeah.
But so there are 10 of them in the series, and they're just mysteries that take place in like Wisconsin in,
Mhm.
I think it's in 1906. So it's kind of that, again, it's like that, early part of the century, and
Yeah.
it's like a farming type situation. And they're mysteries, but it's written, I started reading them when I was probably 10 or 11 or something. And
Mhm.
like reread the series so many times. Of course, I know now, and they're mysteries, and I know what happens, but I don't know. There's just something really, really cozy about them, I think.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And actually, ironically, my oldest son, came upon them without me even realizing at first that it was the same series. Like he got one of them, or how was it? He got a book from his grandma, like my husband's mom,
Uh-huh.
that by the same author, but I didn't realize it at first. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh, this is that author that of this series that I've loved ever since I was a
Wow.
little kid. And then he read them and really liked them too. So that was kind of fun, just to, see one of the
Yeah.
first times one of my kids started liking a book that I legitimately
That's
enjoy as
so
well.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another simple, kind of fits in the simple things book category. And I think someone else mentioned this maybe on one of the cozy chats, but like um, Amish novels or that kind of thing.
Yes.
I pulled one off that I don't know who it's Tricia Goyer, I guess, and Sherry Gore. Anyway, Planted with Hope, it's called.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's just, yeah, it's
Oh,
just an Amish novel. And I don't know, again, there's just something about like you're reading about just life that just doesn't have as many complications. And it just,
yes.
just feels cozy. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
And then also kind of, I don't know, when you might be being like, oh, it's just another mundane day. It's like,
yeah,
oh, wow. But look how they're really just savoring all of the nice things.
right. Like it's okay. I mean, it's still beautiful
Yes.
and good, and yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
then actually the other like cat thing I thought could fit in this simple things category as far as books, which is a huge category, but children's books.
Yes.
I have one I think that I pulled. We have, of course, lots of children's books because all our kids love to hear books, and I mean
Hmm.
sometimes we get them from the library, but this is one. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, A Sick Day for Amos McGee. Um, and it's
Yes.
just, again, it's like a really simple story. It's just this little, man who likes to drink his tea and have his oatmeal every morning. And
Yes.
then he gets sick. And anyway, I don't know. So many children's books, I think, have this feeling. Like when I sit down and read a children's book with one of my kids, if I go into it kind of like crazy or stressed or whatever, there's something about just sitting and reading this simple story that just kind of like brings everybody like back to calm. Like, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Another children's series, and these are kind of like the easy reader category, are the Mr. Putter and Tabby
Ooh,
books. And it's
okay.
Mr. Putter and his cat named Tabby, and then he's friends with his next door neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry, and she has a
Okay.
bulldog named Zeke, and they look like they're probably like in their 80s. They're up there.
Okay.
And it's their little adventures that they have together. So yeah, like she hosts some kind of group at her house. I think it's a crafting group, and he comes one time and it's this big disaster. And yeah, he has a cold one time and she makes him chicken soup and brings it to him. And yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
I
that
just
sounds
really like them.
delightful.
Yes, yeah, they're
Fun.
fun.
Yeah. So I think
Cool.
those are all the ones I thought of as like
Nice.
simple. There's probably
I'm
plenty
excited
more.
about that mystery series set in the early 1900s. I'm going to
Yeah.
be looking it
Oh,
up.
and that one, the main character's name is Kate. So there you go.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. Oh.
Alrighty. Your ninth cozy thing.
Okay. So 9, I had things that feel like home or like
Hmm.
homes of various kinds. I don't know. I was realizing there are like, of course, there's our own house that has, but even within our house, I think it's kind of cool to find little like nooks or spaces that feel like, especially, and it's not always the same. I feel like I go through different phases where I'll kind of like, oh, like, look at this spot in this room that I never realized, like,
Mm.
nice little spot to sit or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. So of course our own house as kind of home, but then also like both my husband's and my parents, or my husband's parents and my parents, like their homes, there's
Mm.
something about going into there that just has a way of also feeling like home. Like you just walk in and it's just kind of like, oh, back in, I don't know. It just has a
Mhm.
feeling of home. And then
Mm.
like we've gone a couple different times back to the same beach house. So again, like that
Oh,
has a feeling, once you've been there before, it's kind of like, oh, you walk in and it just has that feeling like this feels
yes.
familiar. And I don't know. I think the older I get, the more I realize like there's something very special to me about like anything like nostalgia or like memory,
Oh,
like just like
yes.
I think I love it more and more.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's just you're very safe feeling when you feel
Yeah.
nostalgic. And when you said places that feel like home, I also thought of the condos that we always go to at the beach. Like I just feel so calm and safe
Right.
there. And
Right.
even like, oh my goodness, like I'm so nostalgic about the beach that even when I'm sunburned, I'm like, oh, it makes me think of being at the beach.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good way to think of it.
Yes. And I
Oh
know
man.
my dad said, since, he didn't grow up going to the beach. So the first time that he went, the combination of like stickiness from sunblock and then sand sticking to you, he said was like such an
Oh
overwhelming
my.
combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so funny. Like I am very finicky. Like I don't like my hands to be sticky, except when I'm like at the beach. Like I'm like, bring on all the sunblock and sand.
I feel like my husband had a similar thing. Like, I think my mom also didn't grow up going to the beach. And I feel like one time my husband was trying to to explain to my mom, like, you just have to like embrace the sand. Just like go in and just like, kind of be one with the sand. Like, don't like let go of like, yeah. So it is funny. I guess it probably does make a difference, like if you've grown up with it or not, like
Yeah.
how it comes across.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because both like my oldest and then my sister's oldest have kind of like texture issues. Like they don't like to do certain things if the texture is weird, but they
Yeah.
both are like totally down with getting all sandy. So I
Yeah.
do not understand it, but I am okay
Yeah.
with it.
Right. It works out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely beach houses. And then we also have our anniversary is in January. So we've started this tradition where we go to this bed and breakfast in the Hershey, Pennsylvania area. And we
Mhm.
go to the same one every year. Our parents watch the kids.
That's
And
so
so
nice.
there's something again about nice about like, I don't know, I suppose there could be couples who like find it, exciting and adventurous to like go explore new places. But I think we both have found there's something very comforting about just like, we know where we're going, we know where we like to eat.
Yes.
Just it's like home. Like it's like going, to another little feeling like home place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
those
great. Very
feels
cool.
like home things. So
All right. And then I guess, are we to the ninth cozy thing?
I think that was 9. So I think I'm on my
Okay.
final things. So
All
I
righty.
could
What is your last cozy thing?
yes, I had to work this in somehow. It is little things. So
Yes.
okay, so you know this about, but I don't know. I don't know. It may have started like around the time that I was like a teacher. I don't know. I'm trying to remember when this first came about.
I
Maybe
feel
when,
like it did because even Corey started a whole Facebook group, didn't he?
oh
Like little
yeah, I
things
think
are
he did.
cute.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
right. I think for a little while there was like a debate going on. I think my husband was trying to like convince people like, no, they're not
That
not
like
all little things.
inanimate objects that are little cannot qualify as
Right,
cute. And we were
right.
like,
I was like,
wrong.
yeah, right, exactly. It doesn't matter what it is. Like if it's a little version of it, it is cute.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I don't know if you remember that you got this for me, but one of the things that I thought of with little things is this little set of my Russian dolls
Oh,
that
I forgot about
little.
those.
I still have all of them. In fact, there was a time, I think here's all the way down to the very littlest one.
So cute.
I think there was a time when I was very, very sad because I really thought that as my kids had been playing with it, like one of the pieces was lost. And I was like, this is so tragic. Like I know
Oh,
my entire, but somehow miraculously one day, like under a chair or something, we found like the missing piece. Like I had been convinced, yes, it was, and it just showed up. So that was very lovely.
You know what? Side note, your little beautiful pill box you brought me from Bulgaria. I stupidly was letting Arthur play with it one time, and he was right near the trash can, and then all of a sudden one of the pieces out of the two isn't there, and I'm like, oh no! But it was like very dirty trash, and so I was like, I don't know if it's worth it. And so I was really sad for like a week, and then Peter was like bending over by the table, and he found the other piece. It was under the dryer. It had not gone in the trash can.
My goodness. Oh yay! Oh yeah, small miracles.
Yes, small miracles. That's right.
Oh. So then the other thing, I have a friend his newer friend who just discovered this thing about me that I love these little cute things. So now every now and then she'll just buy me like this random little thing. So one of the things she got like tiny, like little flower, like, so yeah, I decided maybe I ought to just officially start collecting like little things and just like,
you could even now, I don't know how Phil will feel about me encouraging you in this, but there's even like the little like knick-knack shelves you can get.
I know. I actually have, okay, I didn't bring this over, but like our kitchen sink is kind of like, it faces a corner, which for a while I was kind of sad about because I always thought it'd be great to have a window at the kitchen sink. But one day I kind of decided, what if I just embrace this, like try to make this corner, like just a happy little corner. And I remember we have this, I don't know how to describe it. It's like this wooden thing. It was part of my sister-in-law's wedding centerpiece that we, how sometimes you get things back from when people like the centerpiece. So it's like, it's got maybe 10 by 4 little squares, like little wooden spaces that you can like prop up and put little. So anyway, I realized, oh my goodness, I could use this and just put like little things, and it could be my happy little like, little thing. So I don't know. So far, I don't have too many that actually fit because they are truly pretty small.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be able to find enough things to kind of. I did around Christmas find a few little things to stick in there, so it's like. So see what I can come up with. But yeah. So
that's so fun. Oh well, thank you for sharing your cozy list.
Yes, it was so much fun.
And thank you everyone for watching. And like I said, I will link Carrie's blog down below, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.